friends, and welcome to another episode of Painting with Mr. Bates. Already got my canvas laid out. I'm doing a 16 by 20 today, and I used my spray bottle of water and went ahead and put me a nice moisture barrier, a barrier of moisture on my canvas, just like we've done in the previous videos, and brushed that on. And then I took some of the gloss medium and applied a nice coat of gloss medium all over the canvas to give me a nice wet background to work with. So we're going to start off. We're going to go ahead and dig right into this. I've got two palettes going here, and I'll run the colors across the screen that I'll be using at the beginning of this. So just pay attention. I'll be running the colors across the screen here shortly. I'm going to start off though with a lake blue. And just the lake blue. I'm just going to run just the lake blue. And we're going to lay in our sky. And the reason I'm running just the lake blue and I'm not putting any additive with it is because I have that gloss medium underneath. So that gloss medium is going to help to kind of thin this down a little bit, and to give me more of a transparency. So again, just using the crisscross, the X motion, and going across here with our skyline. I'm trying something new today using the gloss medium instead of just water. We're going to see how that works out. I'm going to show you something here in just a moment what we're going to do. And again, working with acrylics, you kind of have to work kind of fast unless you're using a medium like I'm using, because they do dry really quickly. You can use a medium to kind of help to slow down the drying process. It's okay if a little bit of that white shows through. But now, to show you what we're going to do, we're about to get rid of our brush strokes. So I'm going to lay down my palette. And now we're going to go to our spray bottle. I'm just going to lightly mist, not really heavy, lightly mist. And now I'm going to go back and forth. I want to blend that water that I just sprayed on there into the paint. I want to thin it out a little bit. Now, if you just go back and forth and you do what I just did, you're going to see water spots to pop up on that. If you'll just take and work that paint in, just like I'm doing right here. Just work that paint in. You'll be able to get them out. And then just go straight across, back and forth. To get rid of those brush strokes. All right. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash that brush because I'm done with it for right now. I'm going to grab my other palette. Now, on the palette that I was just using, I had Lake Blue and Phthalo Blue on there. And I'm going to be using the Phthalo Blue later on. Today I've got laid out on here a titanium white, a medium yellow, an olive green, a bright green, a grass green. I have the red ochre, and I went ahead and I wasn't going to use it today, but I went ahead and added my phthalo green and of course my Rains gray that I always use. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my inch and a half brush here, and we're going to come in. We're going to decide where we want some clouds at on this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with just a couple of clouds, maybe one or two, not a lot today. I'm going to grab just a titanium white and just the corner of the brush. That's all you need, it's just the corner of the brush. And I think I'm going to go, maybe I've got one coming right in here. A little puppy cloud. Coming right in here. Doesn't have to be much. Maybe it kind of fades off. Just grab a little bit more of the titanium white. We'll go over here. Maybe we got a little small one right in here. And maybe we got a real small one right in here. Just a real thin line of a cloud right in here. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll have one off to the side over here. Just kind of working its way in. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab, I'm going to reach right over here. I'm going to grab a good, clean, dry 2-inch brush. And I'm going to just go over the lower part of these clouds. I just want to kind of blend in those colors, blend that white in, kind of fade it in. Stray hair there from the brush. It's okay. And just lightly really lightly go over them just like that. All right. Use the old apron here to kind of get a little bit of that excess paint off. Painting can be messy and fun all together. All right, now clean this brush off a little bit. You know what? I may use that same color again, so I'm not going to wash that brush just yet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to decide what we're going to do. Do we want to do just a basic landscape, or do we want to do a mountain scene? And you know, I'm thinking, I'm really enjoying doing mountains, so I'm thinking I'm going to do a mountain scene here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I think I'm going to put in a mountain, maybe right in this area. So I'm going to grab a palette knife. And again, I like to use the stainless steel, nice good size palette knife here. Master's Touch is my favorite brand to use. We're going to come here and first we're going to grab this little stray hair right here from the paintbrush. It was a new set of brushes, so got a lot of stray hairs. Alright, we're going to grab a little bit of this titanium white and a little bit of this Rains gray. I'm going to mix those two colors up. I'm not too much concerned if I've got some marbling in that. But what I think I'm going to grab just a little touch of that red ochre. Oh yeah, I like that. Alright, and just as before, we're just going to spread it out. And then cut across to get a nice little bead of paint on our knife. And where are we going to start? We're going to decide. I might go, maybe I've got a nice little tall mountain right in here somewhere. And maybe we got another little peak right here. paint right here. Now if you see, I'm just kind of working this paint in, not being too detailed with this. All right. I think I like that. All right, we're going to place our palette knife down right here. We're going to go back, we're going to grab our 2-inch brush that we just used. A little bit of that excess paint off there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab, let's start right over here. We're going to grab a little bit of that paint. And if it starts to dry on you before you're ready, moisten your brush just a little. And get a little bit of that excess moisture off. Then you can come in, you can see I'm able to grab some of that paint out. I'm going to reach over here and I'm just going to grab a touch of that paint. I didn't get quite as much on the canvas as I wanted to. I'm going to grab just a touch of the paint onto the brush. Paint's really drying quickly tonight, not sure why. Got a little stray hair there. Using these new brushes, going to end up every once in a while getting some of those stray hairs off the brush. If you don't catch them and don't see them right away and they get stuck in the paint, then you'd have to go in there and pick it out. All right. There we go. Now then, I'm going to place our brush back over here. Now before I go in and put any snow onto our mountain, I want to give this a few moments to dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to be figuring out what I'm going to be doing down here. And unfortunately, even though I placed that gloss medium on here, it's a little sticky to the touch, but it has already begun to dry. I'm not sure what's going on. The humidity must be pretty low tonight in here because it's drying really quick compared to the other paintings that we've done. So I'll have to come back and I'll add some more moisture to our bottom before we lay in any land or water. And I know I'm going to have some type of water scene down here. And not sure exactly how I'm going to play that out. I had thought about doing another waterfall, but I want to save that one for another day for a larger scene that I've got in mind. I may do a layered mountain scene on this, or I may do another nice water feature, maybe a lake or some type of water basin coming off on the mountainside. And of course we'll put some trees, things like that. But we'll come back in just a moment and see what we can get going on. Like I said, I want to give this just a moment to dry. And as I said, it's drying really quickly tonight. So we'll give it just a couple more moments here to dry. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe, guys. I can't say it enough. If you want to keep up with everything I've got going and keep up with all the videos and future videos and informationals that I might be doing, down here at the bottom, below the video, you'll find a link to subscribe. So be sure to subscribe. And if you haven't had a chance to yet, be sure to check out my Facebook page. It's right up here. Just be sure to go to that website. It's the Facebook page. Give it a like. And make sure that you set for following it. And you'll be able to see anything that I add to it. I'm going to be updating it very soon. And I'm working on a website later on. So hopefully in the next couple of videos, you'll be able to see a link to my website. But for now, be sure to subscribe below and check out the Facebook page. Go on, give it a like, give me some thumbs up, and I'll be right back right after this. Hi friends, and welcome back to Painting with Mr. Bates. I've added some more titanium white back to my palette. I went ahead and did our water scene here, and what I did was basically take the lake blue that we used up here, took the lake blue and mixed it with titanium white, which gave it this nice lighter color blue. And normally I would flip-flop that, but I wanted kind of maybe an evening type sky going here. So I went with a darker blue for a late evening, maybe a late evening sky or a nice rich blue sky going in with this. But I'm going to take my titanium white and I'm just going to pull it straight down. And we're going to start laying in our snow. So I'm going to cut across, get a nice little bead of paint on there. And if there's a little bit of that blue in there, that's okay. It just gives us a little bit of a shadowing effect. So we're going to start, I think we're going to start right in here. And remember, lightly hold your knife. And just as I said before, we're going to come in kind of a 90 degree. And then we're going to work our way down and just pull down. Just like so. Alright, I think I'm gonna go right here and just kind of pull down. And again, my paint's drying really quick tonight. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. The only thing I can come up with is the humidity level must be really low in here. And that could definitely be my culprit. I'm going to work kind of quickly here to get this. Paint laid in. Like I said, it's really drying really quick tonight. I've actually added some more water to my paint. Try to thin it out a little bit. So that happens sometimes with the acrylics. They dry really quickly. You could put a little bit of paint thinner. Water works for me. going to kind of cut in a little bit of snow around these edges right here. Just like it. Alright, we're going to work kind of quick with this. We're going to move quickly onto our next project. Grab a little bit of paper towel here, wipe off my knife. And like I say, it's really drying quick. Even on my palette knife, it's drying faster than normal. We'll have to find out what's going on with that. Alright, what we're going to do is I'm going to allow that to dry a little bit, and I'll come in, and when I do my shadowing, I'll touch up some of this that didn't go on exactly the way I wanted it because of it drying quick. So we're learning something, a new part of the lesson in with this one is dealing with problems as you go along. And one of the problems I'm running into is, like I said, is it's drying really quickly. I mean, just like the water part here, it is dry, and I haven't been just a few minutes put this on, and it is completely dry. So we're running into some slight problems with drying, and this right here, you see I just put it on, and it's now dry. So I've got a very fast drying process happening here with this painting. So we're going to have to do some working with that and figure out a way to work that in, but that's okay. You know, things happen. Perhaps the humidity level is a little bit low tonight, so that could be playing a big role in it drying a lot faster. So I'm noticing on my palette too, I'm having to continuously moisten my paint to keep it a good fluidity to it, keep it flowing really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the gloss medium to my palette. And when I come back in and start with my next setup here, the gloss medium will help a little bit with that flowing. But I also noticed my gloss, that my medium was also drying pretty quick tonight. So there again, I'm going to have to work with this and see what the deal is with what's going on with it drying quickly. So we've got the snow that looks like a blizzard hit on this one. I guess we'll call this one part of the ugly stage. But we'll come back in just a moment and touch up right in here with some shadowing and get that going in. We're going to work on our land scenes here, laying in land mass, laying in some tree lines, and hopefully I can get my situation rectified here with the paint drying really fast and work on getting that taken care of. So I'm going to take another quick short break, and I'll be right back and see what we can do with this. Hi guys, and welcome back. I've done a lot of doctoring on this. I went ahead and went in and laid in some of my shadowing effect using the lake blue and some white, going over that. Went back with some brushing, and I added in my palette some more of the gloss medium, and I have sprayed down my palette once again, keeping it nice and moist. And I using the gloss medium and the titanium white, went back and used some brush strokes this time, and using just a little small 1/4-inch angle brush to kind of touch up the snow and a little bit of the shadowing effect here. Not exactly what I was looking for, but I was able to fix it up a little bit. So we're going to call the mountain part there finished and go with what we have. It's not exactly what I wanted. Like I said, the humidity level is staying. The only thing we can figure it is the humidity level is really low in here. So, and if you run into that problem, an option that you could look into doing is add a humidifier to the room that you're in, and that would help to put a little bit more humidity in the room, which would probably help to keep your paint level a little bit more moist and lasting longer. However, I'm not going to do that tonight because I don't have a lot more than I want to do to this. So we're just going to, we're going to work with what we have and keep going. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in here. We're going to start laying in some trees in the back. Now I've added a good bit of my gloss medium from the palette. We're going to go in, we're going to grab some, let's first get us some gloss medium over here on the sideline. We're going to grab some of the phthalo green and we're going to mix it in with that gloss medium. And what this is going to do, this is going to give me a transparent color here, but it's going to give me some fluidity to the paint. I'm going to get just a touch of that Rains Gray in with that. There we go. Maybe a little bit of the red ochre. Mix it up. There we go. All right. Now, paint's good and moist. I hope it stays that way. So we're going to come in and we're going to figure out where we're going to go with some trees. I think I'm going to go, we're going to start maybe over here in the far side. And remember, we're just using just a tapping. We're going to go all the way across. Just like this. Keep going. We're just going to say we got a bunch of trees. You know, just a nice little forest going in here. Back in the background. And again, because our paints are drying really quickly tonight, kind of working quick with this. So just as I said before, you can, the good thing about videos is you can pause, replay, go back, look at it again, and just keep going. All right, I'm going to keep that same, I'm not going to worry about washing my brush. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab some of this grass green and a little bit of the bright green. Bring it right over here. I'll put a little bit more of that gloss medium in there. Touch more. I want to get it really, really liquidy. I mean, not runny. You know, I don't want it running, but I want a good moist paint going here. Then we're going to come right back along what we have, and I'm just going to. All right, now I'm going to take. And again, I'm not really going to worry about cleaning my brush. I'll kind of just wipe off a little bit of the excess here. Tell you what I will do. Lay down my palette. I'm going to grab a little bit of paper towel. Like I said, I'm not going to clean the brush, but I'll wipe off some of the excess paint. Because what I'm about to do is not going to matter if some of that green is remaining in there. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab just the red ochre. Go right here. Get a little bit of that gloss medium. Mix it in. And maybe just a touch of the phthalo green. Now we're going to get an idea of where we want some land coming in from. So I think I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to lay out. Maybe I've got a little spot of land coming across right here. I'm just going to kind of tap in just the rough idea of where I want it to come in from. So maybe we got a little spot of land coming right about here. All right, maybe it keeps coming on around, and then maybe we got a little protrusion coming out right here, and maybe this one's going to go all the way down. And it's okay if some of those green colors come into this, because this is going to be our land mass, and we'll give this some earth tone colors here. got that going. Who knows? Maybe even down here. Maybe we got a little small spot of landmass right here. Grab a little bit more of this. So maybe it kind of works its way up right here. Maybe it even goes all the way across here. Maybe we're going to go all the way across. Yeah, I think we will. So we've got a little, we're going to have just like a little basin of water right here coming in. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep working with this. Keep putting in this color here. And I'm going to keep working with the red ochre, the phthalo green, and that gloss medium. Keep it going. Get a little bit more of that red ochre there. Get a nice little red earth tone going there. I'm just going to keep tapping in. And again, the reason I like to tap in my paint is it gives me a texture. It allows that paint to kind of raise up off the canvas. If I could just take and brush it in and get it on there really quickly, which that is perfectly fine. That's exactly what I'm going to do because this paint is drying really quickly. So I'm just going to kind of brush this in, and I'm not using any particular brush strokes. You know, I'm not going perfectly straight and slow and everything. Just kind of working it in, and then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to kind of tap over it, just like this, and that's still going to give me that textured appearance. All right, we're going to work on our little spot right here. There we go. Grab a little bit more. And we're going to come up here and we're going to kind of quickly get the paint on the canvas. And this is one step you can take. I know I work a little slower usually, but this is one step you can take if your paints are drying really quick and you don't have a way to slow it down, is kind of work quickly to get your base coat on. And then you can come back and worry about the texture. And the thing about it is when we come in here and we start putting some color on here, we can do more with the texture then. All right, so we're going to keep this going and work right across here, just like so. There we go. Now we got in that earth tone lower level. That's going to be my, that's going to give me some of those darker colors to bleed through as I'm adding in more colors. We'll get that laid in. We're going to come in. We're going to add some trees. And I've got some ideas for some trees that I want to do. I'm hoping that I'm able to do it with this paint tonight. I may save that step for a later video, just depending on how well I can get the paint flowing. I'm going to work with it here. I'm going to take one more quick break. I'm going to clean this brush, moisten down my palette once more, and possibly moisten down my canvas in this area right here just a little bit. I'm not sure yet. I'm definitely going to moisten down my palette. I'm going to clean my brush really quickly here, and we're going to take another quick short break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. I've really moistened down my canvas here, and I've changed brushes. I went to a 1.5 inch brush. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab some of this bright green. And again, we're going to get some of that liquid, almost a liquid white, some of that gloss medium. I'm just going to go right back over here to where we was mixing that earlier. We're going to go with that bright green. And we're going to come in and we're just going to, I'm just going to tap in. I'm going to tap in some color here. And if you'll notice, I'm not completely covering, and I let it kind of fade in certain areas, darker, brighter in one spot, maybe lighter and others. And I'm doing that so that we can get some of those earth tone colors to come through. So I'm just going to work all the way across. Keep adding. Keep adding some color here. It's okay if you get kind of heavy in some spots. It's not going to matter because we can come back, and as we add in more color, we can fix that. And the reason I decided to go with the larger brush is so I can get a larger area covered at one time versus using the small 1/2 inch brush that I was using. Because I want to do the tapping so that I can get that textured look going, and that nice textured feel. And then we will go back and grab our small 1/2 inch brush once again and continue working with that. And we go, got some nice rich dark green foliage going here. All right. There we go. Now, step back. Take a look at your painting. Get an idea of where you want to go next. I think now we're going to work on the possibility of laying in some trees. So, we are about to get brave. I'm going to grab my fan brush. And when I say I'm about to get brave, I'm about to attempt something that I have not done. And we're going to see how it turns out. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to grab some of the gloss medium, get it on both sides of the brush here. Alright. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get some of the titanium white on one side of the brush. And I'm going to flip my brush over and I'm going to grab some of the red ochre. Alright. Now I have, and if you can see my brush, I've got red ochre on one side and I've got the titanium white on the other. So I'm going to get a good bit of that red ochre on this one side, but I only want it on one side of the brush. Alright, now I'm going to come in. Oh, and I think I'm going to put one right about here. And here's my bravery test. I'm going to start right at the top, kind of a thin line, and then I'm going to just pull down. Now what that did is that gave me, and I could have went with a lighter color, a darker, maybe a bluish gray color. But what that did is that gave me a little bit of a highlight to the one side of my tree trunk here. Alright, so that one turned out pretty good. We're going to do one more. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that red ochre, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab some more of the titanium white and a touch of that blue, that lake blue. And we're going to do the same thing. So this time we're going to come right here and right there. There we go. Right there. Maybe it's got a little friend. Maybe this tree's got a little friend right beside it here. Just a little small one. There we go. All right, we're going to grab a little bit more color. Get a little bit of that white and blue. And again, just one side of the brush with your lighter color, the other side with the darker color. And we're going to give our tree here, we're going to give it another little friend. Maybe right about here. And it goes right there. There we go. Make that little sound. That'll help you a little bit getting it laid in. And maybe we're going to put one, maybe a little small one right here beside it. Just like that. Alright. And our friend over here is looking a little lonely. Let's give him a little small friend right here beside him. Just little small ones. Right there. And oh, maybe this one's got a little small friend right here. Right there. There we go. Alright, so we've got our tree trunks laid out. I'm gonna clean this brush. And then what I'll do is I'll come back. I'm going to give this just a moment to dry, which with our humidity level for some reason it's not going to take it very long. I'll give this just a moment to dry, then I'm going to come back in and you're going to see some more of the things I'm going to work on. I need to try to clean my palette just a little bit. As you see, I've kind of gotten wild with my colors on here, trying to keep it moist and going. So I'm going to clean a little bit of the palette here, and we're going to come back in. We're going to lay in some shrubbery along the bottom edge here, and we're going to put some foliage on our tree, and come back in, maybe a little bit of color around our middle area here, and work on our shoreline, and we will call this painting complete. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. I'm just using a smaller fan brush. This one here is I believe this one's a number 2 fan brush. I've been using number 4. I'm going with a number 2 fan brush this time. And I've gone ahead and I've added in some color along my baseline here. Yeah, put some reds, some yellows, some olive greens, and some bright greens. Just kind of mixed it in. I want to give it kind of a spring meadow type look, to where we've got some nice colors, some spring flowers popping up around the meadow. And I went ahead and started laying in my branches for the trees. Now, as I said when I first started this is the first one of these that I attempted to do trees like this. So I went with a smaller brush. I first started attempting it with a larger brush, and I didn't like the way that it looked, so I switched out to a smaller brush. And guys, basically what I'm doing, I'm not going all the way down. Okay, these are going to be a little bit different than the others. Now, I'm using almost a tapping light motion. I want to give these I want to give them a full look as they go up. I was going to go with a kind of a spaced out looking on some of them, and I may do it when I get over here. I'm not sure yet. And I'm basically using kind of a mixture of the grass green and the bright green. And just kind of dipping into both of the paints at the same time here, not really mixing them. And I'll come over to my palette and kind of dab off a little bit of the excess. And again, just going to kind of come in, just going to kind of push up a little bit on this. Again, my paints are drying so fast, I can't really keep it. So I'm going to add a little bit more of that gloss medium to my brush here. There we go. Just kind of give a nice little full tree going here. Let me get a little bit of that olive green mixture here. Go to that olive green so that I can get kind of maybe some highlights going here. Not going to hit every every branch, just kind of a hit and miss. All right. Not exactly what I had planned, but it'll work. I like that. It turned out pretty good. I'm disappointed that my paints are drying so fast with this. This is a really nice painting that I came up with here. So I'm going to try this one again one day pretty soon, once I can get the issue taken care of with the paint drying so fast. So I'm going to come in here, and again I'm just dabbing off some of the excess paint. And this one here, just with the, I'm going to go with a little bit of the olive green, because the darker green is not showing up. A little bit of the olive green going here. Alright, and just with the corner of the brush, just going to kind of tap in the colors here. We'll go back into the darker green. And you'll see I'm just kind of grabbing all three of these colors of the green here. Alright, I'm going to come in and just the indication here, the smaller one back in the background here. Can't see it too well. I'm going to grab a little bit of the darker, that grass green, a little bit of the darker, a little more of the gloss medium. Alright, I'm just going to kind of just touch grab some of the olive green, get a few little bit of a highlight going here, and I'll come back in just a moment and touch up some of this because I got some where I didn't want it. And I'll grab the darker green to do that, just to kind of tone it down. We can say that this painting has been kind of a challenge with the issues that we've had with the paint drying so quickly. But that's okay. It's given us kind of an opportunity to experiment and come up with different techniques of figuring things out. I'm going to put a touch of red ochre in this. Maybe we got some darker, colors kind of all come in right here. I'm just gonna kind of touch up. Again, unfortunately, my paint is drying so fast. It's drying much faster than I want it to. So I'm not able to get in there and get those colors to blend the way that I want them. But it all works out. Alright, I'm going to clean this fan brush. You know what, I'm just going to go into my other number 4 fan brush here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab I get a little bit of my liquid, or not my liquid white, but my titanium white. Don't need much, just enough to finish this part up. We're going to go in, we're going to work on our shoreline. Put that back in there. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an angle brush. This is my 1/2 inch angle brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of this red ochre with a touch of the Rains Gray. I want more red ochre than I do the Rains Gray. Get a little bit of that gloss medium. And we're just going to go along our shoreline here. Just like so. Get a little bit of earth going there, a little bit of ground. Just like that. Now, we haven't done any reflections. And I really would like to have some reflections in this. One of my concerns today, though, is the fact that my paint is drying so quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch brush here. I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch brush. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'm going to go ahead and use my fan brush. I'm going to grab just a touch of the greens, the same greens I was using. Get some of that gloss medium there because I want it to be really loose. But I want it to be kind of dark, so I'm going to mix in some of that red ochre, not much, just a little bit. A little bit more of that gloss medium going. Alright, now I'm just going to come down here, take off some of the excess, and then we're going to come here and we're just going to kind of we're not going to have a lot of reflection this time. Alright. And moisten my brush. probably the best we're going to get the way the paint is drying so fast. I'm going to wash off the brush, my fan brush here. Again, I'm using some different waters. I've got a cup of water here that's actually got a mild detergent in it. And I use that first. And then I come over into my other unit here that has some sections of just plain water in it to rinse off the excess. Alright, clean that brush off. And I'm just going to use the old apron here this time to dry it. I'm going to go right into the titanium white. Over here, I'm just going to grab just a touch of that medium. I'm going to grab right into that titanium white. And we're going to come in here and I'm going to use my knife. I'm just getting just a little bit on the edge of the blade. Not much. A little bit on both sides. I'm going to come through here and I'm just going to kind of a sawing type motion now. And I'm going kind of back and forth. I'm kind of hit this section right here. Just to give the indication of some water maybe foaming up a little bit around here. Maybe we've got some moving water action here, and the water's moving kind of quick. All right, I'm moving into the turns here, so it's getting a little bit tight with that palette knife. So I'm going to go back to my brush. All right, I'm just going to keep working around. I'm actually kind of just tapping in right around here. Not really brushing it on, just kind of tapping it in. Go back, touch this up just a little bit. Again, the paint is drying so fast. I'm just having to kind of experiment along the way as to what I can do to make it work. A little bit more of that gloss medium. Alright, now we're just going to kind of come in and get some of the excess paint off the brush. The indication of some moving water. Got a little heavy right there. Let me see if I can get some of the paint off the brush. There we go. Alright, like I say, the paint's drying really quick tonight, so I'm having to work with it and come up with some different ways to fix it. And that was one of the ways to do that. I'm going to grab, I've got my 1/2 inch brush that I was using earlier. I'm going to kind of rinse it off here. Alright, and again, we'll just use the old apron to kind of clean it off here. I'm going to go back into my bright green. You know what, I'm going to get all three of these greens here. I'm going to get the bright green, the grass green, and the olive green. And just come down here, we'll get some of that gloss medium in there. Just kind of load the brush up a little bit. We're going to come, you know what, maybe we'll grab a little bit of that red. Look at a little bit of the red, yellow. Just get all of those colors going here on the brush. Alright, just going to kind of, I don't want to completely mix them. I want to kind of blend it in on the brush so that I get some different colors going. Then I'm just going to come back through here and just go along this lower shoreline here. And maybe we've got some pretty tall shrubs and everything kind of popping up around here. I'll let that one go up a little bit. Just like that. Alright, we're going to go right along our shoreline. Just going to kind of keep working around our shoreline. And maybe I've got some right in this area right here. Just kind of popping up. Alright. And just going to work around the shoreline here. Just like so. Alright, I'm going to put that brush in. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab my small round brush. And we're going to moisten our Rains Gray. Not going to worry, I can get a little touch of this gloss medium over here. Grab that Rains Gray. We're going to roll our brush. And every one of my paintings, you know what I have to have, okay? It is my signature item to my paintings. I have to have my birds. I love birds. So we're going to go in, maybe way off over here. Just a little dot. And then maybe we got one coming in, just a little indication. And we got one coming right here, a little bit bigger. You can see that, but it's a little closer. And maybe we got one right here. Nice big one coming in. Maybe it's coming in towards the water. Get ready to come in for. Maybe it's hungry. Maybe it's wanting to come in for some fish. All right, get a little bit more of that. Just a little bit of the gloss medium that I'm using here. And the Rains Gray. Let's see. We're gonna come up here on this side. Maybe we've got one coming across the mountain here. A little small. Just a small indication in the distance of some birds coming across. A little bit more on my brush. And we got one coming down across the mountain here. Right there. And, oh, I don't know. Maybe we got one over here coming in from the trees. Just like that. All right? Don't have to put a lot. You don't have to put them at all. I just like to have birds in the paintings. It just, when I'm looking at nature, you know, I look out in nature, you're going to see animals of some type, whether it's birds, squirrels. There's going to be animals there. And birds just seems like it should fit into a scene like this. So I've got to have some birds in my scenery. To me, it just makes my paintings pop. And I like that. So I think I want to put one, maybe I'll put one right about there coming in. Maybe it's back there over those trees. And oh, I don't know. Maybe I've got one nice, good sized one right here coming in. And I think I'll put one more. Alright, I'm going to put one more. Maybe I got one more right about here. And I don't know. Yeah, I might put one more. I like birds. But I don't want to put too many. I'll put one more right here. Alright. We got our birds in. And now it's time to sign off. I'm going to call this painting complete. And I'm going to grab some of this Rains Gray. Get a little bit more of that gloss medium. Get a nice good flow going here. A little bit more. Alright. Got our Rains Gray and gloss medium. And it's time to sign off. boy, this paint is just drying super fast. All right, there we go. We're going to call this painting Complete. We have our Mountain Spring Meadow. I think that's what I'm going to call this painting, a Mountain Spring Meadow. All right. I like the way it turned out, even though I'm having problems with the paint drying faster than what I want it to. I kind of like the way it turned out. It turned out really good. And as you can see, it's already, what I've already put on there just recently has already started to dry. So I like this one. Guys, do your best. Try and experiment, come up with different ideas, different paintings. And I really, really like it. I'm sitting here watching my son paint over on the other side of the room here. Today he's went back to his other paints. He's still working with the acrylics, but he's working with the craft paints and brushes tonight versus what we were doing. And I'm looking over, and I must say I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. He's doing a really good job. So I have to add a picture of it in with what we're doing here and let you see it. We're going to call this one Complete. This is a Mountain Spring Meadow. I really like it. Even though I ran into problems with my paint drying faster than what I wanted, challenge came up. We took the challenge, and I believe we beat it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, everyone, down below the video down here, there's a link. Click on it to subscribe so that you can keep up with all of the paintings that we do. And right over here, you'll see the website, the Facebook page for all of my art stuff that I do. I've got, I will have these paintings on there. I have some acrylic paintings on there. Some of my son's work is on there. I've also got some macro photography, macro art that I've done. You'll find on there. So be sure to check out my Facebook page. Give it a like. Give me some thumbs up. And I will see you next time. And until then, happy painting. And please let your imaginations flow freely across your canvas. Until next time, this has been Painting with Mr. Bates.